What is going on, everyone? My name is Jazz, and thanks for entering the Lobby of Hobbies. We're back with another episode of Lobby Talks, where I get a chance to sit down with you guys in the community and pretty much talk about various topics related to board games, things pretty much that can help advance the hobby, things that make this hobby great, most importantly, things that will bring more people into the hobby and build community. So on this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you the 5 life lessons that I've learned with respect to this hobby. So let's just jump into it. So as I go through my list, understand that this is completely subjective. All right, take it with a grain of salt. My list of 5 things might be completely different from yours, and your list might only be 3 because you probably got the other 2 things figured out. But whatever they are, if you want to share it, why don't you drop it down in the comments below? I'd love to hear from you. I love to talk with you, but most importantly, I want to build community. So let's jump into it with my number 1, and that has to be critical thinking skills. Board games do exactly that. They build upon them, right? We're making observations, we're analyzing the board, we're making inferences based on the facts that are there, trying to draw the right conclusions, to try and problem solve, right? And we definitely need to communicate. So it encompasses all the 5 aspects of what critical thinking is by simply placing a board game on the table in front of everyone, right? And I know I need to use this in my work. I need to use it as a husband. I need to use it as a father. I need to use it in relationships in general, is having those, having good critical thinking skills. And board games do that for me. For some people, it might be building models. It might be, Sudoku puzzles, crosswords, whatever the case may be. What is it for you? Does board games help build upon your critical thinking skills? I know for me, I'm not getting any younger. The wheels in my brain, they're getting a little bit rustier, and I need to keep them oiled. So board games definitely build upon my critical thinking skills. So on to my number 2, and that's going to be the lesson of teamwork. Some of us grew up with parents who probably placed us in team sports activities just so we can learn what it was like to work together in a team. Board games, cooperative board games specifically, offer that same opportunity, where we get a chance to sit at a table with people who have different viewpoints, different strengths and weaknesses, so that we can work together to try and figure out how we can accomplish the task and win the game that's in front of us. It's no different than playing sports. You've got to figure out who has what to offer to be able to win the game. Now, teamwork is something that we can all translate over into our lives, whether it be the relationships that we're building, and especially at work. Some of us come from workforces where we have to work on projects that need to be accomplished in a certain time frame. And utilizing each other's strengths and understanding who's weak at certain things will allow you to work together to accomplish that goal in a timely and efficient manner. So for me, number 2 definitely is teamwork, and it's something that I use on a daily basis. Now with my number 3 life lesson, it's going to be the idea of humbleness. Now you're probably asking yourself, Jazz, how do you learn humbleness with respect to board games? Now I'm going to tell you an experience that's happened to me. I used to play a game competitively called Dice Masters, where I used to compete in tournaments. And a couple times I've gone into certain matchups, understanding that I was either the more experienced player or the person with the advantage going into the matchup. And I kind of walked into it thinking, oh, this is going to be an easy win for me. And boy, have I been wrong, where I've walked away from that matchup pretty much humbled, where I had to kind of tell myself, man, regardless of the situation of the matchup at hand, you still have to understand that there are going to be people who are just good players, or maybe they're a better player than you, or maybe there was a situation that you just underestimated. And boy, has that really humbled me. But these are the types of things that you got to learn to transfer into life as well, where I've learned, in my interactions with people, to remain humble and not get too prideful in the situation. So yeah, number 3 for me is going to be learning to be humble. Now going from number 3 into my number 4, they kind of play off of each other, and this is what I like to call learning to lose with style and grace. Now, whether it's a competitive game you're playing or even a cooperative game, understanding that there are going to be situations that you're going to lose is inevitable. But how you lose is going to be important, not only to you, but also the other people at the table. You know, losing in a sour mood or one can be a big turnoff to everybody else at the table, and potentially those people don't want to play with you anymore. You know, especially people who are newcomers to the hobby, you want to leave a good lasting impression on them. You know, this type of attitude translates into how we deal with regular life. Are we the type of people that when we're faced with adversity, we don't know how to handle it and we kind of take this sore sport or a sore loser type of mentality? It's very important to manage how our character and how our actions reflect to the others that are viewing them around us. So for me, it's personally been learning to lose with style and with grace. And boy, have I lost a lot. Lastly, on to my fifth and final life lesson that I've learned from board games, and that is to not take things too seriously. We're talking about board games here, right? The key word being games. They're supposed to be fun and enjoyable, not only for ourselves, but the people that we're sharing the experience with, right? We want to be able to walk away from that table in hopes that we can come back for more, for another experience that we can enjoy. You know, how much of a turnoff is it when somebody at the table is taking winning or losing too seriously? Very rarely do you want to enjoy or play another game with that person. Now, this translates for me into life 100%. I got to understand and I got to make sure that I know when it's important to take things seriously, but also when it's important to just keep it moving and just let things go. Whether it be life situations that are presented to me, but also my interactions with people. You know, how I treat people, and understanding that there are certain situations that are just not worth letting it get too serious. It's not only important for the health and well-being of myself, but also the health and well-being of others that I interact with. So, this is my list of 5 life lessons that I've learned from the board gaming hobby, and I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, why don't you hit that subscribe button along with the bell icon, that way you can be notified anytime we drop new content on the channel, and give us a thumbs up if you like the content. But anyway, I'd like to hear some comments down below. Hey, give a chat. Like I said, I'm all about building community. I'd love to hear from you. You guys have a good one. I'll talk to you later.